Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the MakeCode Arcade Advanced stream. I'm Shannon at Shakao on the forums.
I'm Joey at JWonderl on the forums.
I'm Richard at Richard on the forums.
And I'm Vivian at LiveCheerful on the forums.
I notice you guys are all still stealing my thing.
Hats?
Isn't it our thing at this point, Richard?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you may have noticed we are all in costume, I guess, for this stream. And if you watched yesterday's stream, you will recognize some of this code. We are continuing a game that we started yesterday. It's an incremental game where you're making hats. Does someone want to explain what an incremental game is?
Sure. So it's kind of, these are often referred to as clicker games or simulator games. It's usually you're just like doing one thing, one tedious task, like pressing a button, and a number goes up. And then as the number gets higher, you can buy things to make your task easier. So for example, you press A to make a hat, but once you get enough money, you could maybe buy a thing that makes hats for you automatically. And then once you get even more money, you can buy a thing that makes hats faster and keep going like that. And so this one was inspired by an entry to the garden jam that we got. So
if you go to arcade.makecode.com/gamejam and scroll to the very bottom of the page, you'll see this gallery. So these are all the submissions. And this game in particular was inspired by Potato by Rayhan. So you should definitely check out Potato. It's very charming. And all right, so I'm just going to kind of go over the code that we made yesterday. So let me see. I think there's on A button pressed. Yes. I'm going to change this to like. So you can see we start out on kind of a blank screen with a status bar on the top. And then when you press the A button, the status bar starts to fill up. And once it's filled up all the way, you get a hat. And you can keep going. And then when you press the B button, it opens the shop. And you can use up and down arrows to navigate through the shop. And once you've selected something, you can press the A button to buy it. And it will reduce your money by that much. Cool. So the things that I think are left are to have the tools that you buy actually start to, automatically add points to your hat bar. And yeah. Oh, and the other thing I was going to do was add some like intro text, maybe at the end, to sort of describe what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So
Let me start.
We've created a different hat image for each of the different things too.
Yes.
I think Joey has helpfully put them above our names.
Yeah. So once you buy something and it starts giving you points, then we'll factor in like the hat image. I think how it works is the thing that adds this last point to fill the status bar to 100 will determine what kind of hat you get. Cool. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create another array. And that array is going to be product quantity. So I'm going to arrays, drag out this list. And rename variable. All right. And so you start out with 0. So you'll see up here we've defined our 3 products, the Foldatron, the Haberdasher 9000, and the Ribbon Twirler X. And then here we have a matching array that is the price for each one of these. And what is happening? Oh, were we using the list variable? Yep, renamed it. All right, let's keep that. And I'm gonna make a new variable instead of renaming.
It's my fault, folks. I always change the default variable names. Otherwise, you get stuff like this happening.
Cool. So you start out with 0 of each thing. And obviously, you can buy as many of them as you want. So the more you buy, the more they will help you out in the hat making process. So then down here, we have this function called buy product. So right now what happens is if you're able to buy it, so if your score is greater than the price, then you spend that many points. So in here, I'm also going to just increment the value. Let me see. Set, yeah. So move this guy to the side a little. Set product quantities, and then shop selection is the item in the shop that we've currently highlighted, and that's a number. And then we're just going to increase that by 1. So I'm going to drag out a math block. Oh, I'm not on beta. Should I switch?
Oh, yeah, go ahead and switch.
Yeah, all right. So you'll see here, I'm at arcade.makecode.com, which is the site for Arcade. But this week, we're actually using arcade.makecode.com/beta. So if you go here, beta has kind of all of our latest features, all of our latest bug fixes. It may sometimes have more bugs because we're introducing new things, but it's a good way to see sort of the latest and greatest in Arcade. And we're using beta this week because we're hoping to release Arcade in the next week or so. So we're just sort of showing off the new features and also, testing it. Cool.
You might have to go back to just beta and then go into the project. I've seen this happen a few times.
Okay. My connection is also not great, so it's doing its best.
Next clicker game we should make internet themed. Get some more internet. Click for faster.
It should be one of those where you have to keep the bar up, like it's always dropping, and you have to keep getting to.
There's kind of a famous game for the NES called Desert Van. Has anyone heard of this?
No.
It's a game where you drive from Salt Lake City to Las Vegas in real time on a van. So the vast majority of the game is you just going forward on the road. I think on hour 4 or something, a fly hits the windshield or something. But it was also designed so that you can't just leave it, because even though the road is straight, the van veers a little bit to the left or right. Not so much so that you could tape down the D-pad. You need to be there watching it so that you can course correct. Anyway.
I'm struggling here. Let me see if it works on regular, if I can reopen this game. And we may stick to that for this stream, just in the interest of having anything on the screen. Cool. All right. So we're here for now. You should go check out beta if you're interested in seeing cool new features. For this stream, we will be hanging out in Arcade Live. So we were setting the value at the shop selection to, and I'm going to grab the value at the shop selection +1. So get value at. And this is going to be product quantities, get value at shop selection, +1. Nope. All right, cool. So what this line does essentially is it just grabs whatever value we have currently in that slot in our product quantities array and increases it by 1. So now we're actually buying stuff and we're tracking how many of each thing we have. We're going to have these, machines do something. So I think I'm going to use an on-game update, and we'll have different time intervals for each machine. So, the more expensive it is, the better it works, obviously.
Yeah, that's always true.
So I'm going to start with maybe on every, 200 milliseconds. I'm just going to pick some numbers and we'll see how it goes. And then I'm going to grab a for loop. And I'm going to do repeat x times. And I'm going to grab, so let's see. So this is going to be the, wait, no, it should be slower because it's going to.
Yeah, so we want the cheaper products to have a higher interval because that means they'll be slower.
Mm-hmm. So this is going to be the foldatron. So we're going to say product quantities, list, get value at 0. And that's how many foldatrons we have. And every 1 second, it's just going to increase your score by 1. All right, so let's see. If we have done this right, we should see that start ticking up by itself.
You have to buy one first.
Nope, didn't buy anything.
This is hard work, Shannon. Things don't just come to you.
All right, there we go. I did not purchase a folder. Bought 2 of them. Yeah, so if you look at the score, you can see it's going up by 2. I have 2 foldatrons. Oh, and I'm not changing the value on the status bar, so you're not seeing that. Where is?
It's in the A button pressed right there. Yeah.
Got it. Cool. We could make these into a function.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, yeah. It's fine. So, and a number for how many points.
Well, you also want the source, right? So.
Oh,
you
so
put
you
it
want
in the source, then we could like unify the build hat stuff too.
Yeah, that works. All right. Down to the save button pressed. Cool. So I'm going to move everything inside this else statement into this function. And I'm going to edit it and add another number that is source. Right. So you add point, you're going to change the score by points, and then we're also going to change the value. And so this just ensures that the status bar, which we're using to like visualize the score or visualize progress to hat, and the actual score number always stay in sync. We're never going to change the score by ourselves. We're going to pull it from, I guess maybe we need to do this when we decrease the score when you buy things too.
No.
Yeah. It'll change your progress to hat, or no?
No, I don't think so. I think that your progress to hat should always stay up. Because otherwise you could spend more than 100, right? And then what happens? It just goes down to, it unbuilds a hat.
Yeah, that's true. All right, cool. So I guess progress to hat is just permanent. So we're going to do add point. It's 5 points, and then the A button is 0. So that's like a handmade hat. And inside this game update, we're going to add point 1. And the source will be 1. So that's the foldatron. So now if let me see, and I'm going to buy a foldatron. Cool. Then if I get all the way up to, all right, we'll just wait for this guy to go. Cool. I think the maximum of the status bar changed.
No, it's because you bought 10.
They're not
Yeah.
Right. Cool.
So if it makes a new one while you're on the menu screen, I think we'll have a small issue, but.
Right, yeah, so we can pause this. We have to add in pauses also for the up and down as well. I mean, this doesn't super matter, but yeah, so now you see if I fill in the status bar, we get a regular hat, baseball hat. But if the foldatron fills it in, we get a paper hat. Cool, so I'm just gonna duplicate this code for our other 2 machines, the haberdasher and the ribbon twirler. And then I'll go back and add in some checks. So I'll put this one at 500 and this one at 2. And then 2 and 3, and this is get value at 1 and 2. Cool. And then I'm going to add shop is open checks around all of these. So if variables shop.
Ooh, you could just put it around the add point.
Oh yeah, but I need to do it around these. I guess I don't need to do it around these, but cool. And yeah,
Maybe
that's
not. Shot it. Stop. Oh, never mind.
These-
Sorry.
oh, yeah. But yeah, this one should be not shop is open. So add point. And so we only want to change the score if you're on the hat making screen. Drag out a not block. I'm going to duplicate this shop is open. Cool. And I'll put that in here. So, all right. Let's see this. So if I make some money and then I open the shop, I'm going to buy a Foldatron and maybe another, oops, there we go. And then, so now you see it going up every second. We're at 22. And then if I open up the shop, we stay at 22. Thing. Cool. This feels kind of fast. I think maybe we should increase the times for each of these.
It does take a while to make a paper hat.
That's true. Because you have to
Very
make sure-
labor intensive. Most haberdasheries won't even, entertain an order because they know it's going to take them much too long.
All right. I just moved everything up one bracket. Cool. So there's the base of our game. I'm going to add a little intro text. If someone wants to come up with some intro text, go into game, grab out this show long text, and that will show a little pop-up dialog. So with the hat factory.
Press A for hat. Press B for buy more hat.
Well.
Or buy robo hat.
Buy robot. All right. So now when we start the game, you should get, there we go, some instructions. Cool. So what else should we do? Who's got
Do we want to show the robots that we buy?
That's a good idea.
Robots matter.
Oh, and I'm going to change this back to 1, I guess. I guess we
change
have
it to 1, but maybe set the score at the beginning to be something really high while we're testing.
Yeah.
Maybe we just start out with 1,000.
Steps bars.
Oh no, the info.
Nope, info. Yeah, so I think we have some, so as you buy hats, or as you make hats, they sort of fill up the screen. And so we also need to figure out what happens once you fill up the whole screen. But I think we have some space up here to indicate how many of each thing you have. So you've seen us do this before. Oh yeah, Mondero's text sprite has, is a good way to do this. So I guess I'm gonna make a function that is create or update these labels, right? Probably update labels.
The other thing we should probably do, which I'm just going to mention now so that we don't forget about it, is right now it just infinitely creates hats, sprites, and we should maybe start figure out what to do about that when they go off the screen.
Yes, yes. Once we've filled up the screen, we need to,
Maybe just set auto destroy to true, and then at least it won't crash the game after a while.
I think we should actually solve it though, right? Like we should always be able to see. There's no point in making more hats if it's just creating invisible, instantly destroyed hats. But yeah, let me see if I can very quickly make some labels. So this text sprite drawer, you'll notice is different. It's not usually in Arcade, and that's because it's an extension. So if you go to extensions, and in here type, I think, what is it?
Darzu/arcade-text.
Yes, that will add all of these custom blocks made by Daryl, and they allow you to really easily, add text to your screen. So I think I need to make a text sprite. Set text sprite, and I think maybe I'm just gonna have it be an icon of the hat. No. I'm going to use the hat image for now, I think. And we can figure out a way to make a short name of these later. So I'm going to actually drag this guy out.
Yeah. Okay. Joey, real quick, what does a newspaper foldatron look like?
Ooh. Can it just look like a bigger newspaper hat so it folds itself?
I mean, I think it should have hands.
Hats don't have arms,
Well,
Joey.
yes,
right?
like the
Because
newspaper
it
hat
needs to do the
with giant
folding.
hands outside of it. It replicates the hats in its own image.
Okay. Then Vivian, what does the Haberdasher 9000 look like?
Okay, I think it might be controversial, but I think it should look like one of those wiener dogs.
How is that
who's doing?
This is perfect.
Because dogs don't usually make hats. So I think it should look like one of those wiener dogs.
Is that just because you like those dogs?
Because I think, doesn't haberdasher sound like haberdashened, which is how I think dachshunds should be pronounced?
Can't argue with that.
Thank you. It's very reasonable once you think about it.
Yep.
So maybe it's like a bunch of dogs sitting at a table. Robot dogs making top hats.
Are they playing poker or?
No, Richard. This is work. They're making hats. No time for poker.
All right, so I'm doing something that's a little, so you see how we have 3 machines here, but we actually have 4 images because the very first one is your manual hat image. So I know that this list is offset by 1. So I'm just gonna use that fact in creating these labels. So I'm gonna go from 0 to length of the array list minus 2. And so our for loop is inclusive. So that means it will be 0, 1, 2. It'll run 3 times. And then I'm going to set the text to the value at the index plus 1. Cool. Index. So because we're starting from 0, but actually we want to start from 1, and we want to go 1, 2, 3. So I didn't put it in this join, and that's a number which we can't, display as text, so we have to manually convert it to text using this join block. So cool. So now the text sprite is the number, and the icon is going to be, oh yes, the image. So this should actually be product quantities. And this icon is going to be get value at, and
I think it's going to have to be just index for the top one and then index plus 1 for the second one.
Yes, you are correct. And this is index. Perfect. So when this is 0, it's going to grab 0 from our product quantities, which is the number of foldatrons we have, and then it's going to grab 0 plus 1 from these images, which is the paper hat here. So that all seems to line up. And I'm going to set the max font height to 5. And yeah, I think this might end up being big. Let's see. And then I need to call this function, and I need to place these labels. So in here, we're going to create labels. And this should just make a bunch of text labels somewhere on the screen. Yeah, that's how many of each thing we have. And then I'm going to set the left. So I'm going to set the top to 0 for all of them to align them with the top. I should rename this.
I think you might actually want to set the Y because I think that'll center it.
Yeah.
The hats are different sizes so I think otherwise they might end up being a little
I see.
not aligned.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to set the Y to maybe like 8.
Assuming you center aligned it.
Cool. So you can see the numbers are aligned at least. And then I'm going to set the...
What were you saying, Joey?
Oh, I was assuming that he center aligned it. I didn't know.
No, when we were seeing it in the middle of the screen, they weren't center aligned.
Yeah, and then I'm just gonna evenly space them. I know the hats are different widths, but I think we will make it through. So I'm gonna set it to the index times. Let's try 16. I think that's gonna be too little. Let's try 24.
Yeah, because you also have the text. So I think the widest hat is 16 pixels.
Yes. Cool. So maybe I'll add like a little bit of a left margin as well. So I'm going to add like 2. All right. So this is, oh geez, maybe I should have independently created these because now we also need to update them.
Oh no, just destroy them all and recreate them each time.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I think I'm gonna also change their type so that we know their labels. So I'm gonna go down here and nope. Set. So we're also using text sprites in the menu, and I think we're doing some stuff with grabbing all of the sprites of the same, kind and destroying them. So I don't actually need this function. Instead, before I make all these, I'm just going to go through any existing labels and, erase them. So going to arrays, there's this array of sprites of kind. I can change this to kind label and remove this. And then if I go into sprites, there's a destroy. So I'm just going to clear this. Cool. And the last thing to do is every time you buy something, we're also going to call create labels. So it's going to remove all the labels and update it with the new quantity of stuff.
There's a buy product function somewhere.
Yes. Where is it? Here it is. Cool. Nope. The create labels. successfully bought something. We're just going to recreate all of the labels. All right, let's see if this works. So just restart the simulator.
Hit stop and then play.
All right, and press A, and then press B to open the shop. I guess maybe I should hide those. Well,
Yeah, they should stay. Why
it's kind
not?
of nice that you can see them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool. Get a couple of those, some of these guys, one of these, and if I exit, then there they go. Cool. Haberdasher. Awesome. So the next thing, I guess, is what happens when we filled up this space.
I have an idea.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, so I was kind of thinking, what if we had the hats drop down onto a conveyor belt and have them shipped off screen so we can see them as they're being produced?
Uh-huh.
We don't have to deal with them anymore.
Cool. So do you think it should be like, let's start with like a straight, I was going to say, should it be like a snaking conveyor belt that goes through? I think I'm going to start with one that just sort of shuttles them off screen, and we can expand that as we go.
Yeah.
So
That would be cool though. You could do a tile map that's the conveyor belt, and then use our road tiles for it, maybe, and then just have them follow it.
Put a little car behind every tile, every hat to carry it.
These are really big hats.
Yep, and as we all know, writing code to follow paths on a tile map is simple and easy.
It is actually.
No, it's not. It took us a very long time.
Oh, well, we just have to be careful how we define it. I can use my map.
So I think I will use a tile map.
Oh yeah, Joey has a good point. If we add his A-star extension, then you can just tell it to walk to the location, and you can define a little path if you make everything else walls.
We have to be more careful with placing them then, though, which is kind of annoying.
Well, you place them on the start tile, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Just...
All right, let's do that. We're already, in the extension weeds, so what can another one hurt?
Oh, I didn't add that one. I added the other one. Yeah.
What's the...
What is it? GitHub jwonderl/arcade tilemap A-star? Arcade-tilemap-A-star. That is the worst extension name.
Cool. So if you guys are interested, you type jwonderl/arcade-tilemap-A-star into the extension bar. You'll see this extension down here. You can click it. And Joey, do you want to explain what this extension does?
It makes it so it follows the shortest path. So if you have walls, it tries to find a way to get from one place to another.
Mm-hmm. Cool. We're going to wait for this to load, hopefully.
Yeah. Look, there was this guy named Dykstra, and he was pretty cool. He was basically the Justin Timberlake of computer science.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's the thing that all of the people I taught in school really hated me for making them do when I was a TA.
Cool.
I didn't know this existed.
I could use the road tiles, but they're very much roads.
Yeah.
Too bad I didn't open beta up, because then I could copy them and just modify it.
We can't live with regret, Shannon. No.
All right. So I'm just gonna make like a conveyor belty looking thing, which is gonna be stripes.
I like it. It's like those little roller things that they use for pushing packages on.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the bins in airports.
Oh.
Cool. So for now, I'm just going to use this to sort of lay out. And I changed the size of our tile map to 10 by 8, which is also the size of our screen. So I think the top two are probably status bar area. And maybe let's see how this looks. So this will be here. And cool. So yeah, that works well. I'm going to actually... Well, let's see how this looks. Hat factory. Great.
Yeah, it looks like a hat factory to me.
Awesome. Yeah. So then I'm going to make everything else a wall. So it doesn't really matter up here, but I don't know. And erase these. Cool. So now there's like a single path through this tile map. And oh, and I need to make the start one different. So I'm going to duplicate this tile, and I'm just going to maybe erase one line here. Cool. And that was the eraser. All right. So now instead of all the math that we did last time to place the hats, we'll just put them on this tile, and then we'll tell them to follow the path.
Oh, we need a target for it to go to too.
Oh,
so
okay.
We need the final
Yes.
one to be different.
Well, you could just, so I think what might be the easiest way to do it is if you make the tile map one tile bigger in the width way.
It'll stop on the last one. Yeah.
And then it'll go to the last one, and we can turn auto destroy on, and then it'll just destroy it.
Yeah.
And we can just hard code the position.
Okay. Yeah.
It doesn't. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that would be nice too, because it'll just exit. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
We won't even have to mess with the camera. I think it'll work.
Let's see. I think I'm going to do a different tile just in case we want to rearrange things. I don't know if we will, but all right. Cool. This tile doesn't matter because no one will ever see it. And then I'm going
We'll
to
know about it.
It looks good though.
Cool. I know I missed a spot, but this window is behind it. You see? I get it?
You get it. Yeah,
Cool.
You got it.
Sweet. So we have a tile map. So we have a make hat function, I'm pretty sure. Build hat. So instead of this last hat X, last hat Y stuff, I'm going to keep it here to the side, just in case.
Just
Put
to
it
make
on the
me feel better.
refrigerator.
Yeah. Place my sprite on top of random.
If it's gonna knock one of my macaroni paintings off of the refrigerator, then I don't want it to go there. All right, because I'm pretty proud of my macaroni painting.
What's in a macaroni
It'll just
painting?
be either to the right or on the far left and below it. Don't worry.
And the A-star blocks show up in scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So if you go to the very bottom to see this new category called path following. So I'll need to make a path, and then I'll need to tell this sprite to follow the path. So cool.
And you can just make the path once at the beginning, which will make things run a lot nicer too.
Cool. Yeah. So it's always the same path, is what Joey's saying. So we really only need to calculate it once. go back up to our on start. And I'm going to set the variable.
So why would you only want to make it once, Joey? Why not make it every time?
Because finding paths can be kind of expensive, and it will make your game very slow on hardware if you're doing it all of the time.
Yep. So A star is cool because it is literally the best way to do it. It is like mathematically proven as the best algorithm for path finding. And there are some things where you can kind of like make some heuristics that make it a little bit better in certain cases, but A star is the best kind of general algorithm. That being said, it's still just a hard problem, so it's expensive. So if you have a big tile map, you know, it's good not to do too many of the calls to that.
Yeah. In this case, it should be fine because it's all just like there's only one choice at each. Anyway.
Cool. So we're going to, I set a variable called hat path, and here we're going to grab our new hat, and it's going to follow the path, hat path. And this is the speed. So I'm gonna bump this up a little bit. We'll see.
Yeah, you can probably get rid of that set position too.
Oh yeah, right. We're immediately undoing that. Right. Goes in the macaroni drawer. And cool. Let's make some hats. So, hat factory. And I'm going to buy some robots. Oh, yes. Let's fix this.
How do we do that best?
Cool. And here we go. Hey! Look at that guy go. Cool. And then I need to set auto destroy to be on so that the sprite is destroyed when it goes off screen. Set.
In this case, that's also just it will run better on hardware sort of thing.
Cool. And then I need to update these tile map paths and also hide the conveyor belt when we open the shop.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I think the easiest thing to do would be to define 2 tile maps and set the tile map to just be a blank one when you open the shop, and then switch it back when we close the shop.
That's
Yeah.
cool. I was just thinking about making a 160 by 120 image that's just tan.
Cool. So, I think actually I don't even need a straight one. I only need the corners. 2, 1, 2, and all right. So we're gonna try this for now. Let me see. Oh shoot, I edited this one.
Every time.
All right. There we go. Different.
While we're drawing, one other thing I can mention the follow path code in the A star following will just take any path. So if you just give it 2 points to tile locations in an array or any number of them, it'll just make a path between those, just straight between them.
Does it have to be a tile map?
They have to be tile locations. So I think you have to have a tile map to get them.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm making a game about a cow eating food.
You
And
should
it's just-
try my storytelling extension. It's got handling for that.
Ooh, okay.
Specifically cow making food handling.
I was thinking of calling the extension cow making food, but then I was like, are people going to notice search that?
They will now.
All right. I I swear this will be worth it. It probably will not be worth it.
I think it'll be worth it.
Cool.
Everyone wants the hat factory to be a success.
I think the small details that make us feel good are totally worth it.
Plus, it's really nice because I can imagine it like it's going down the little ride ones, you know, where they're at an angle, and then when they go past, all the little rolls spin around.
Oh, yeah.
I like those ones. It's always fun to watch.
Satisfying.
Almost there.
Yes, last one. All right. Cool.
This is the level of quality we expect from a hat factory. That's why people buy our hats.
It's true. We deliver.
No, we don't deliver.
We're delivering.
We make hats, but we don't do the delivery.
Cool.
Yeah, we don't know what's off screen. We don't see that.
Here's our little conveyor belt, and I think I'm going to just set it to an empty tile map when you open shop and set it back to this when you close the shop. I can duplicate this set tile map, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. All right, so when you close the shop, you become the hat factory again. I'm not sure what's going to happen to hats mid-scroll, but we'll find out.
They should still keep going, but they'll just be invisible, which is all good.
Yeah, okay. Right, because the path, well, the walls will change.
The path doesn't live update.
Yeah. It'll just keep going. Like,
Perfect.
The path is just an array of locations, so it'll just keep going.
And we have an open shop function somewhere up here. So I'm going to go scene and set tile map 2. And this will just be an empty tile map that's the size of the screen, which is 10 by 8. I guess let me get the same size as the other one.
Yeah.
And cool. All right. So here, awesome.
Cool.
Sweet.
All right. Well, build a bunch. Buy a bunch of the most expensive one.
All right.
I think the most efficient one is the newspaper hat one, because it's like half as fast as the haberdasher, but it costs 1/10.
I think these need to follow the path slower. I was like, it'll be cool to see them shooting around, but let me make this guy big. All right. Great. That's all my money.
I think Joey's right. You should just buy a bunch of the newspaper ones.
Because everything only adds 1 point.
Yeah, it's only it's 1/4 as fast per one, but it's 1/20th the cost.
They didn't give me a hat. Oh, goodness. I think it might just be my laptop updating.
Can you go back to it? Did we pick random on the right block when you're placing it the first time?
Oh.
Did we?
I thought I noticed that earlier, but then it seemed to be working, so I wasn't sure.
You are correct. That's a... There we go. All right. Time to build our hat empire. These and maybe Right. Yeah.
Won't people be confused by seeing the paper hat and be like, is this a boat factory? Must be at the wrong factory.
I mean, it's obviously a hat, though, right? Like, we made it.
It does tell you. It is, yeah, it's a newspaper hat, which just happens to be the exact same thing as a newspaper boat.
Well, I mean, it's not the same
Like
thing.
in
They're
context
different.
of our other good hats.
That's true. We don't want to have, but like, I'm worried about our tour guests. And what if they're like touring the factory and they look inside the window and they're like, what? Wrong place. And we're losing all our customers selling tickets to the boat factory.
But do we want those people shopping at our hat factory?
That's true. They obviously can't identify a good hat when they see it.
Mm-hmm. We want our hats to be bought by influencers.
Cool. So I think that is the Hat Factory game.
No, wait. We need to do one thing real quick, which is, so we're done, but we need to fix the thing where the buying the cheapest one is the most efficient way to
oh yeah,
We need
sure.
to fix the
In the game.
economy.
Yes. So basically we can think about these guys in terms of hats per time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's see.
Right. So if this adds 1 point every 2 seconds, then it's going to take
This one should add
100.
one. Then the haberdasher should add at least 1 point every 200 milliseconds.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to make this one longer is the start. And then maybe also... So now we're at 500 seconds, and this
Well,
one...
I think the thing is that the one after the newspaper needs to be 10 times better.
Plus size,
Oh,
probably.
price is... We could just
Yeah.
make it expensive. I mean, right now they're increments of 10, right? Oh, no, sorry, this one is 200.
Yeah.
I'll just make it 50.
All right.
Yeah,
That should work, right?
We don't want any cheap
Yeah.
robots.
Cool. And that works, I think. And then I'm going to change this to where we start out with, start out with 0. Cool. All right. Got a name?
Awesome. Well, this game looks way better than it did yesterday.
Trying to think of like all the hat phrases I know. I don't.
I was trying to do a pun on the means of production.
Oh yeah, that sounds like a game.
Haber dash with all capitals.
Yeah.
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 Perfect. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm Shannon. I'm at Shakao on the MakeCode forums.
I'm Joey at JWonderl on the MakeCode forums.
I'm Richard everywhere.
And I'm Vivian at Lift Your Phone with my code forms.
Okay. Thanks for watching. Bye.